everyone. I'm Congresswoman Grace Meng from the 6th District of New York. Thank you all for joining us today. It's always good to be in the presence of our CAPAC Chairwoman Judy Chu and all my colleagues, and thank you to our media partners for covering this. As a daughter of immigrants, tonight was a historic night for me and so many people around the country. We got to witness the first ever woman of color, the first ever African-American, Asian-American woman candidate for the vice presidential position. And I think Kamala said it best tonight, that the failure of this administration in handling the coronavirus pandemic, where over 200,000 Americans have died, have basically forfeited their right to re-election. This administration from day one has been constantly being creative in ways, thinking of ways and tearing up our communities, breaking up our families, from the Muslim ban to separating kids from their parents at the border, to performing hysterectomies on women, oftentimes when they didn't even know about them. And we saw recently in the Donald Trump debate where he couldn't even condemn white supremacy. As someone who represents Queens, New York, which was the epicenter of the epicenter during the months of March and April, we witnessed firsthand how Donald Trump and Mike Pence, who is the chair of the White House Coronavirus Task Force, we witnessed how they mishandled this pandemic and abandoned the American people. Mike Pence couldn't protect over 200,000 Americans from the coronavirus. He couldn't even stop it from going into the White House itself. Kamala talked about there being a real serious lack of truth and transparency from this administration on so many issues. And Donald Trump said it best himself, where he admitted to minimizing the virus and the pandemic in the early days where Americans could have been protected. And he also admitted his desire and expressed his wish to literally walk away from negotiations for coronavirus relief that so many Americans desperately need right now. Mike Pence never had a national plan for testing and tracing. As members of Congress, we've been in multiple briefings with the federal administration. We've never heard of a consistent, unified testing strategy. Mike Pence basically plagiarized Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's national testing strategy after he heard an outline of it on stage tonight. And we talk about respect. Mike Pence talked about respect. This administration has not shown respect to the American people and definitely not shown respect to the Asian American community. Chairwoman Chu mentioned how Donald Trump and so many Republican leaders constantly use terms like Chinese virus and Kung flu. This has only emboldened racism and hate crimes to thousands of Asian Americans across the country. And those are only the stories and cases that we've heard about. Because of his lack of management of this pandemic, it's hurt the over 2 million AAPI essential workers that have been serving our country and protecting us. And at the same time, Mike Pence has mismanaged the pandemic. Senator Harris is the lead sponsor of a resolution in the Senate that condemns anti-Asian bigotry. This same resolution was passed in the House just a few weeks ago, and over 164 Republican Congress members refused to vote for a non-controversial resolution that condemned discrimination against our community. and all the Democratic members voted for this. So I was so proud of Kamala tonight because of what she stands for, because of what Joe Biden stands for. We know that they have a plan and they will work their hearts out to heal our country, to rebuild our economy, and to bring our country together again. Asian Americans make up a huge chunk of voters in many of the battleground states. And like Chairwoman Chu said, we are going to work our hearts out to make sure that they will be voting early or on November 3rd. Thanks.